on video because I just woke up. I haven't really gotten myself together yet, but this particular topic is on my spirit this morning. Um, so I want to talk about it. So today I want to talk about public assistance in the black community. But hold on, let me do some stuff before I get started. Alrighty. So what I want to talk about today is public assistance in the black community, the real and raw uncut version of what I really know versus what people want people to think. Okay. The reason why this conversation is so important to me is because there was a time where I needed it and that I used it. And I feel like there's topics about it, regarding like people taking advantage of it and all that kind of shit. So let's get into that today. So yesterday I was on TikTok and I was talking to this young man back and forth about the public assistance situation. And he was talking about how it was set up to keep the black man out of the home. Okay. Now, we all know that since the beginning of Virginia, since it's been colonized, we know that everything that they have done has been to try to hold us back, right? The key word is try. Because obviously, because we all exist here, that means that our ancestors survived and then here we are surviving, right? So I just want to talk about the different things that was told to me while I was on public assistance, just to give like an inside scoop of how raw shit really is. So, all right, so let's just say that back in the day, because I remember someone telling me that back in the day they used to come inside your crib and look around to see if they found any extra like clothing in your crib that belonged to a male or belonged to another adult or somebody else that could be staying in your crib. And for me, I've been living out on my own since I was 19. I signed my very first apartment lease at 19. And one thing I do know that they expect for only the people whose name is on the lease to live in the unit. Okay? That's anywhere you live when you are renting, okay? They expect for whoever you have on the lease to be the only people that stay in there. So the same thing applies in public housing, okay? Now, once upon a time, yes, we can prove fact to fact to fact that there was a time where public housing said that they didn't want no men staying there. Now, let's look at it like this. If you had to go to a convent to stay, do you think that they're going to let you shack up in there? No, they're not. Okay? If you go to a convent to stay, there's no males allowed in there with those women. When you go to be a nun, same thing. When you go to be a pope or anything, you relinquish your rights to the opposite sex sexually. Now, we do know there's weirdos and they do all that weird shit they do, but let's just keep it to the facts right here so I don't have to keep reiterating on things that we know about corrupted systems, because that's really what we're talking about right now, right? Corrupted systems. So let's say with a rooming house. If you move into a rooming house and it's just you, they don't want you having company, right? Mainly because of safety issues. Because whatever your situation is as to why you can't get a place in your own name that's considered regular housing may not be available for those people to know. So for safety purposes, they tell you that only you can have visitors, but no one spend the night out of respect. Same thing when you live in with your parents, right? Your parents don't want traffic in and out of their house just because you're staying there, okay? Stay with me here. So in public housing, they're looking at it like, if the man didn't do, even though we set it up for him to fail now, if he's not able to put you in a regular place to stay, then you can stay here. But while you're here, don't have him running up and in here, wilding out, doing whatever, and not helping out. You get what I'm saying? So the women are proof that the men still was coming over in there. Some of them snuck men to stay there, and they realized that if that was the rule, then whenever they were supposed to come and do those walkthroughs and checkups, they'll get rid of the men and make the men hide their stuff. See how we are resilient? Like they'll give us a rule that we know is bogus, and then we'll turn around and just flip it and be like, oh, well, I'm going to still do what I want to do anyway. Yeah, because that's what we do. All right? So you say, all right, boom. So first you came in a broken situation. You went in there and you applied for emergency housing. Because that's what it's supposed to be. Emergency transitional housing. Okay? You applied for it. You gave your little sob story. You did your little tears. I don't know where me and my kid's going to go. And then you go in there with 2 kids, 1 kid, and you come out with 8. Or you never ever come out. You actually grow old there and have grandkids that are coming to visit you at this project. So if it was meant to be transitional housing and there's people who have emergencies and can't get in there, it's because the people who they are not leaving. They get in there and they get comfortable in that fucking filth over there. Because we're not going to act like that shit ain't filthy over there. That shit is filthy. And you're talking to somebody who lived in Fairfield Court for 7 years. It was filthy. And when I went back over that bitch, I mean, when I was living there, it seemed like I didn't see it for some reason. But when I fucking went back over there after I moved out and was gone for a while, I was like, I cannot believe I was living in there like that. And then I go back and I watch the videos of the rats and the roaches. And I remember getting bit by the bed bugs. And I remember all that shit, bro. That is not humane motherfucking living for someone who's trying to get on their feet and raise kids. Who's actually complying and not having no men up in there. Not making no new babies. Okay? So boom, let's just get to it. Now let's just say they set the system up for these women to go in here, right? Get on their feet, right? Because they're basically building independent women with the way that they was trying to do it, right? Independent women, so they wouldn't need the men. But that's not what happened. It weakened the women, actually. It weakened them. Because it made them feel like, okay, as long as I'm here, I can afford this $50 rent. You know, so they still trying to make a life for themselves there. And then they mess with that man. And then they have 4 or 5 more kids. So you ain't going to want to pack up 4, 5, 6 kids to go move in regular housing. Because now you're going to be paying over $1,000. See what I'm saying? That's what make them stay. And if they lose their job, guess what? The rent ain't going to be but $50. I know when I was there, that was the thing. If you had child support or anything like that coming in, any type of income, the lowest amount of rent you'll pay is $50. Now, maybe there was a time where it was free. I don't know. Because I used to hear y'all say all the time before I moved there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, them people over there, they don't even pay no rent. They don't do this. They don't do that. I'm going to tell you what I didn't have to pay. I didn't have to pay a light bill. I didn't have to pay a water bill. I didn't have to pay a gas bill. I had to just pay my rent. The cheapest my rent was ever was $50. When I first moved there, I lost my job. I was working at Best Buy. I couldn't find a ride to get to West Broad from over there. I was not very familiar with the bus system just yet, or taking taxis or any of that. Like, I literally, from the day I left my mother's house, started spoiling myself, buying everything I needed, cars, doing what I needed to do. You feel what I'm saying? Living in regular housing, doing what I was supposed to do. Feel me? But when I let relationships and keep getting pregnant and all my depression and everything, when all that stuff crumbled down on me, and I got to that point where I was homeless, having to stay in different places, having to rent hotels, having to stay with friends, family, all that shit. When I got to that point, I was like, yo, I got to get me a crib. And it just so happened that my truck that I had, the transmission blew right before I moved in there. It blew in January. I moved into Fairfield 2010 in May. Okay? That was not how I had planned my life. And if I get emotional, please forgive me, because I'm still healing from decisions that I made as a younger person. I had my music career I was trying to do. I had my hair business I was trying to do. I was trying to be somebody, but I still wanted to be loved. Okay? And so I kept trying relationships and I kept getting pregnant. Just being stupid for niggas, bro. Being stupid. Allowing my lust and my lostness, my insecurities, not loving myself, I let that shit land me 3 kids with no husband. So I moved to Fairfield. Right? I was in a government program through social services, through the Goodwill, and they was giving me classes to teach me about home ownership, becoming an entrepreneur and a business owner. I took all the classes. They were free classes. I learned how to ride the bus. And I started trying to apply myself so that I could get up out of my parents' crib. At 29. But I did what I had to do, right? And I got approved and I moved in. And I felt like I moved into hell. Because I'm going to tell you, the first day I got there, the neighbor that I had right directly beside me, right? I had one older lady on one side of me and the other side was a girl around my age. It was an older dude on the end, and then it was an older man with his mom. But the older man was a crackhead, okay? And on the very, very end was this really mean old lady who didn't like the kids playing over on the side beside her house. Like a Karen, but black. And the first day my dad pulled me up there, he told me, he said, listen, I know you're a very friendly and bubbly person, but you have to stay to yourself here. You can't tell nobody about your life, your business, your nothing. You have to keep your shit private. And you can't let your mama come stay here. You can't let nobody come stay here with you. Because when you didn't have nowhere to go, none of those people opened their lives up to you. None of those people helped you. So do not fucking do it. Okay? And I said, yes, sir. And so he pulled up in front of 2107 North 23rd Street. I don't know a soul over there because I'm from Southside. I don't know nobody over there, right? And the neighbor, she comes out, hey, neighbor, you about to move next door to me? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, you need some help getting your stuff? And I was like, nah, we got it. She was like, nah, I'll help you. Right after she finished helping me, y'all, she asked me, did I have a few dollars that she could have for helping me, bro? So she could go buy a blunt. Yo, that's when my hell started. Right then and there, that very first fucking interaction. So we move all the stuff in. Next day, she come ask me, do I have, because she borrowed some ice. I gave her an ice tray. Because you're not going to be bothering me about shit like that. Okay? She don't know nothing about me. She don't know. I stay pretty much to myself outside of when I'm hosting and doing party promotions. Because at this time, I was doing club promotions. I was doing music. At the time, I was working with Project Pat. Waka Flocka I just finished dating Waka Flocka. And I mean, it was a lot going on at this time. Okay. I had just released some music and everything. So, you know, I had a lot going on, pretty much. And so she just became the annoying next door neighbor, yo. Like, she was so fucking annoying, bro. Like, every day it was just always something. And then I got to listen to her baby daddy whooping her ass every single fucking day. I could hear them through the walls. I could hear her crying, hear him yelling, hear her yelling, hear the kids crying through the walls. And so this become my reality, right? The lady next door to me, she quiet. I don't hear nothing over there. But I'm just going through this shit right here. And it's just, I'm like, oh my God. Then I'm looking around at the neighbors across the street and everything like that. And I noticed a guy that used to come to Ends of Virginia when I used to promote for there. He looked familiar. And so he ended up noticing me. And he was like, yo, I remember you. Woo, woo, woo. And then he introduced me to his baby mom. Come to find out, his baby mom is the sister of a guy that when I was living in San Susie was my neighbor. So now I feel like I know somebody, okay? Then maybe a couple days later, my next door neighbor, she get abused by her baby father, and it took Richmond SWAT. The SWAT team had to come and get them up out of that apartment. They had a standoff. They made us leave out the apartment. I had to go stand across the street on Rosetta to get out of the way, so that just in case if they had to do the tear gas or if they whatever they had to do, shoot or whatever, then nobody be injured. So we all had to vacate our apartment building. We was out there for hours, okay? And I ended up meeting this lady named Tony. And she was real cool, older lady, you know what I'm saying? I stood over there with her and we just talk, you know, chopping it up, talking and everything like that. And she kind of put me on the game about what was going on over there and everything. She let me know which ways to walk, which ways not to walk, the people who to talk to, not to talk to. Like, she just ran it down for me, pretty much. And she told me that my next door neighbors, they always constantly was fighting all the time. Like, they was like the troublemakers of the neighborhood, basically. And so I knew at that moment, I said, Lord have mercy, I'm probably going to end up having to fight these people before it's said and done. Because one thing about it, I don't play about me, okay? But I'm not the type of person that just be showing people my hand, you know, especially being in the projects. And so just for a little backup on it, like, so it's not like I ain't know shit about the projects. I just ain't know shit about that side of town's projects. My grandmother actually lived on Boston Avenue, on the corner of Boston Avenue, right across the street from Blackwell Project. So it's not like, and a lot of my friends that I went to school with at Elkhart and George Wythe, you know what I'm saying, actually lived over there. So it's not like I didn't have interactions. I knew what the hood was and I knew how fucked up it was. I grew up in San Susie, like I said, so it wasn't as bad as a lot of the surrounding apartments and shit like Blue Ridge and all those places like DeVille, all that shit like that. You know, our shit won't as bad over there. You know what I'm saying? But we did have a lot of kingpins that lived in my neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Because they knew not to shit where they sleep. Feel me? They would go to the projects and sell their drugs and shit like that and kept our neighborhood pretty much cleaned up. And that's one thing I can say about the old dealers from back in the day. Like, they did have a respect for where they lived. They just didn't have a respect for the place where everybody chose to get high. So anywho, so we eventually be able to get back in our crib and everything like that. And like I said, it was a lot of fighting going on, a lot of shooting going on, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, domestic violence. It was a lot of wild shit going on. But I will say that even though a lot of people weren't doing the things, the resource center in Fairfield Court did have a lot of job opportunities in there. You know, they would post things to show them job opportunities. You know, they was trying to make the girls have respect for themselves by telling them, like, don't show up here with a bonnet and, you know, night clothes on. Like, put some fucking clothes on and come in here and present whatever it is. But the girls just wanted to be able to be comfortable no matter what. They wanted to be able to walk around barefoot and pregnant, pretty much. And I'm just gonna call it what the fuck it is, you know what I'm saying? By the time I moved there, my tubes was tied. So I won't even, like, once I had my third kid and that nigga was like, yo, if you keep that baby, you on your own. Like, I was like, say less. I tied my tubes immediately after birthing my son, the same day. You feel me? I had 3 surgeries in one day. So I made sure that I was good so that I don't keep on having children and introducing them into men who don't take their parenting serious, you feel me? Or families who don't want to step up because they felt like their kids shouldn't have had kids in the first fucking place. Because that was really the 2 baby daddies I had first, was those type that was, you know, mama's boys who, you know, they had their sons on really high pedestals and just didn't want them doing certain shit or talking to certain women. You get what I'm saying? Whatever like that. My last baby daddy, I don't really know too much about him at all. You know what I'm saying? Because he just went ghost after I got pregnant. So there was that. But like I said, my tubes was tied. So I could speak from a place of maturity when I moved to Fairfield. You get me what I'm saying? Because I knew better. I wasn't going to keep being a nigga baby mama. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep having kids knowing that I can barely take care of the ones I got. You feel me? Especially when I had family members making me feel fucked up when I needed help. You get what I'm saying? But they was helping the other ones. And the other ones was hoes too. Other family members was hoes too. But they was just on me a little different about how I was moving, right? So if you needed help from my family, like you pretty much got to be moving a certain way. You got to be doing a certain thing. Like you got to allow them to say whatever they got to say. And I just wasn't that bitch for that. So I had to make sure I could stand on my 10. And me moving to the projects was my way of standing on my 10. Okay? Is a place, like my daddy said, is a place where I can stick my key in the door and lock that bitch up and everything that's in it is mine. As long as I pay my shit on time, I'm good money. And who can't pay $50 on time? You get me what I'm saying? So boom. So like I said, I get up in there. My job had gave me a little break so I could figure out how I was gonna get there and shit like that. And I'm not being able to get there, so I had to let my job at Best Buy go. Okay, I worked in computers there, so I let that go. And then now it was like, okay, so now what I'm gonna do? Like I said, I was doing music too, so I continued to do music. I was doing shows, so I was making money doing shows, y'all. Traveling to different states, New York, Florida, just everywhere, DC, Virginia Beach. You get me what I'm saying? Atlanta, like I was traveling with my shit, making money for my shows. You feel me? And when I did shows with other artists, they would put money in my pocket for, you know what I'm saying, coming with them to even do the performances. Because usually I was on people hooks and shit like that. So they'll pay me to come out and, you know, they'll take care of me and shit like that when I would go with them on the road or whatever like that. And meanwhile, I had a structured system. I had my parents that watched my kids, either that or my kids went with me type shit. So when I first moved there, my oldest daughter was 10. And she had just really discovered that she had a singing voice and wanted to do the music too. So she ended up getting on YouTube. So we had a whole lot of different shit going on. So that ended up being my source of income at first and my child support. And once I found out that my child support was considered a source of income and they would use that so that it would look like, you know, because if you don't have no work at all, I think you were supposed to have to leave. But I had an income through those two ways. So I had to show proof. So what I ended up having to do was I had to go to my bank to get a notarized document stating how much money that I was bringing in. And they used that as my source of income, okay? This is my blueprint I'm laying down for y'all right now on how I managed to move through this system and the shit I learned while I was going through the system. So like I said, I had already heard that the shit was a trap and all that good shit like that. But my intentions of coming to the projects was to have a place to stay where I could get my credit straight. I could pay off all my old debt and shit like that from places that I had lived before. And whatever else I needed to take care of while stacking my bread. That was my goal, okay? Well, I did a show one night and this guy was like, yo, who do your hair? And I was like, me. And he was like, well, look, you know, my mom has a salon in her house and she has a whole bunch of Mango and Lime products and she doesn't do natural hair. So if you want, like, I could come and scoop you up and you could come and meet her and then you can, you know, get all that stuff. And I was like, all right, bet. So shout out to Reese Security. I forgot what club that was, but it was down Shockoe Bottom in Richmond. He took me to meet his mom and everything like that. And it just so happened I got a bonus gift while I was there. Like, she showed me her in-house salon, which motivated the fuck out of me, y'all. Because at first I had wanted a actual, like, location, like a building that was mine that I could own instead of having to rent, okay? That's always been my dream, of having my own space, not having to rent from people, okay? So she inspired me seeing it at her crib. And I'm like, you know what? I probably couldn't do something like that. So she was like, well, I got a clothing dryer for you too. So you could take this so you can wash your towels and stuff like that. She was like, get you some towels and some washcloths and stuff like that for your business. And, you know, see about trying to get yourself a washing machine and you could wash your stuff and you could dry your, and you could, get yourself a dryer because she was giving me a wash machine. So she was like, you can get yourself a dryer. That way you don't have to hang stuff out on the line outside. You know what I'm saying? You go ahead and get you a dryer or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So she gave me the boxes of stuff, pretty much giving me the blueprint on how to be an entrepreneur out my crib. And one other thing she told me to do was to go to my rental office and ask them if it was okay for me to do these services out my crib, just so that, you know, because I'm in public housing, to make sure I don't get in no trouble. So that was the first thing I did. The very next day, I went into the rental office and I was like, hey, I was thinking about going into business for myself. I'm already in the program through social services to learn how to become an entrepreneur and everything like that. So I know that you guys require us to have like employment, or we have to do what do you call it? Public service or whatever you call it. Like you have to go out there do community service. And I was like, I'm already doing community service. So they was like, doing community service, like, why are you doing that? And I was like, well, because I read the lease and it says something about if we're not working that we have to do community service, or we have to be doing something, you know what I'm saying, like to keep ourselves active or whatever like that until we found a job. And she was like, girl, don't nobody be doing that. Don't nobody be turning none of that stuff in. So I felt a little stupid, I ain't gonna lie, because I'm like, damn, here it is. I'm trying to comply with the rules, but nobody's actually doing none of that shit, okay? So they agreed to allow me to do hair out my crib, and they told me just when I make money that I need to just continue to keep giving them notarized documents. If I get an increase or if I get a decrease, to let them know so they can adjust my rent. So that's exactly what happened. So I went from paying $50 to $85 for rent, because it was based on a percentage allotment. You can either do base rent, which a lot of people did when they had regular jobs, and I did the percentage. So I forgot what the percentage was, but I did the percentage, and like I said, my rent was $85. So meanwhile, I'm dealing with a lot of other bullshit in the neighborhood. These people who worked in the rental office was teaching us how to jug the system. Because like I was saying on my TikTok video, when I moved in there, they was like, listen, we only expect the people who are on your lease to be in your place. So if anybody come and snitch, because see, that was the new thing. Other people over in the neighborhood was snitching on other people. See, it was giving very much like that motherfucker, like that Toby mentality. You get what I'm saying? Over there. That Uncle Tom shit, they over there telling on each other and shit like that. You know what I mean? So when she told me that, she was like, yeah, if somebody come and tell us that you got somebody staying in your crib that don't supposed to be there, we can terminate your lease. And I was like, well, you ain't got to worry about that with me, because I'm single. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with none of my baby daddies, none of that type of shit like that. I'm good money. So that was one of the things. So again, now she's teaching me how to pretty much be able to show income and it be valid, because I had it notarized. You get what I'm saying? Through my bank. So boom. So now I start doing the locks out my crib. I started off making probably like maybe $500 a month. And to me, that was better because my rent was only $85, right? So my goal next was to get myself a car. You see what I'm saying? Like I need transportation. So I had went to my sister and I told my sister what I was doing, and she was like, well, I'm willing to match you. If you come up with whatever amount of money you come up with, I'm going to match it and help you get a car. So I'm like, cool. So she ended up started talking to this dude I used to mess with, and somehow in the midst of this situation, she ended up buying me a car instead of me being able to put up and get what I want. She just picked a car for me. They paid for it and gave it to me. So I was very grateful. Don't get it fucked up. But the car was so fucked up. It had so much work it needed done. It used to randomly cut off in me in very dangerous times. It was not a safe vehicle at all. However, it was a up, because now I got a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm traveling more with my music business. Now I'm not having to utilize nobody else. I'm moving around. I'm traveling. I'm doing hair. I'm doing everything. I started Sean Paul from the Young Bloods dreads. Me and him meet. Me and him start fucking around. I'm not going to say we was dating, but we definitely was fucking around for about 5 years of the time that I was living in Fairfield. You get what I'm saying? He never once tried to help me financially. He never once tried to help my music career. You feel me what I'm saying? I was basically getting dragged. Basically. And that's a topic for another day. But I just had to throw that part in there because meanwhile, I'm meeting all these celebrity niggas like Young Jock and, DJ Cool and, Biz Marquee and all these big time people. They knew I lived in the fucking projects. Doc Ice from UTFO. You know what I'm saying? Like they all knew. Black Rob. They all knew. Grand Poobah. They all knew. Jay Moss, the gospel singer, knew that I was living in the projects and trying to come up. Not fucking one of them tried to help me push that music shit so I can get to that next level. I was paying for everything out of my own fucking pocket, okay? Meanwhile, raising my kids by myself, no child support coming through, people. Okay? I had a court order for it, but it was not coming through. One of my baby daddies was a junkie, and the other one, he had like 10 or 12 kids. Okay? So no child support, okay? Solely depending on me. All right? The child support that was coming through, the allotment was $257 for one of them and $214 for the other one. Because that is in writing, I still was able to take advantage of it, even though those funds wasn't coming in. That's another way the system is a little jugged. Okay? Because I'm not really getting that. And the only people that know that I'm not really getting that is social services, because they get a copy of the support payments. You feel me what I'm saying? The support payments won't coming in to HUD. So, okay, boom. So it's looking like I'm making about $500, a little over $500 a month, right? Through child support, plus $500 a month through my business, okay? Boom. So now I'm $1,000 a month. I'm in there, right? I'm able to get my car serviced. I'm able to do all the stuff I'm supposed to do, pay car insurance. You know what I'm saying? My phone bill. I'm able to do all my little stuff, right? I don't got no internet in my crib. I'm living at the bottom of my means, okay? I'm living within my means, people. I'm not out here buying Jordans. I'm not out here doing none of that shit. I'm shopping at Rainbow. I'm shopping at Walmart. I'm shopping at It's Fashions. You get me what I'm saying? I'm doing that type of shit to make sure that we can still look good, but we still living within our means, okay? All right, boom. So I end up getting into it with my next door neighbor's son, because I finally had decided to date somebody, and this motherfucker get to fighting with my next door neighbor's son and her baby daddy and another dude. So it's a 6-on-2 fight out there. So now I'm getting jumped because I went back and got my company's property that my next door neighbor's son tried to steal. See, it's all about, if you really think about it, y'all mad at me because my friend that was visiting allowed your son to ride his scooter up the block and come back, and he was gone for 40 minutes. And so when I came downstairs and saw this nigga was still on my porch, I'm like, why are you still out here? He like, oh, I had let your neighbor ride my scooter. I said, well, that nigga just got out of jail for fucking kidnapping a person, taking her car, running all her money off her cards for abduction. Why the fuck would you get... You don't even know my neighbors. You don't even know me that well. This is your first time coming to meet me. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? See, this is when my decision making was getting bad, y'all. But at least I can be honest about my shit, right? Some people can't even be honest about their shit. But this is when shit went left. So because of this motherfucker, we get the rumbling with 6 people. I end up with a black eye and a split lip. He ended up with a stab wound to his side. Okay? Because HUD had a zero tolerance on fighting, they go ahead and process pushing eviction for me and my neighbor. But I sent in a statement, and I went to the downtown and went and got my paperwork and showed it to them like, nah, baby, this was self-defense. The fuck you talking about? They fucking attacked me and my company. Not gonna do that. So we fought in court. We won. And then we had to deal with these people trying to antagonize us until they had to move all the way out. And even after that, dude was still coming back even though he was barred off the property. So this is what I'm trying to say to y'all. It's rules in place, but the people who live in the projects don't give a fuck about those rules. They don't give a fuck about those rules, okay? Them little girls over there fighting all the fucking time. I watched a bitch get bleach thrown on her. Bleach. Okay? I watch dudes come out one back door, go into another bitch back door. I watch bitches keep having bunches of motherfucking babies. Okay, so let's talk about the program. Because y'all said that the shit was set up to keep the black man out the household. Well, to me, He was never out of that motherfucker because them bitches keep having babies over that bitch. So they not keeping the men out. They're still over there. And they're selling the drugs over there. They're the ones over there with the felonies doing all the wild shit over there. The YNs over there walking around with choppers, but your mama can't pay her $50 rent. How you get a chopper? Do you know how much money a chopper costs? Please explain to me, if this is the only place you can be, why is it so fucking filthy over there? They don't give a fuck. They throw the trash on the ground. It's a trash can right there on the corner. They throw it on the ground. They piss. I've seen people take a shit. I've seen people fuck. I've seen people OD. I've seen people walk high as a bitch. I done seen so much shit living over in Fairfield, yo. Nothing fucking surprising me. I done seen high-speed chases, slow-speed chases, chases on foot. I done seen somebody get shot. I seen somebody get hit by a car. I seen the kids set the playground on fire for the school. They had to put I know they put 2 playgrounds on Fairfield because the kids set the shit on fire. One time I caught the little motherfucker who shot my window out, get ready to set the playground on fire. It just so happened I ran up on him, and they had to put that shit out. The kids had a BB gun war. Riding around, I just got me a brand new truck. Brand fucking new. I only had the bitch 6 months. Little motherfucker shot my window out with a BB fucking gun. And the little kids came and told me exactly who did it. They was like, yeah, D'Amico did it. God, mommy. I called him up. Come over here right quick. Let's have a conversation. Because why the fuck would you be out here shooting BBs around people's cars and house windows? And you already on the run right now. Why? When you know that if they find out it's you, anybody snitch on y'all, every last one of them people in your mama crib gonna get put the fuck out. Why would you risk your family's safety and housing because you bored or you mad or you hate life or whatever the fuck your problem is? I was not understanding what the fuck was going on over there. Like, we're given an opportunity to pay very cheap rent. And yeah, the shit ugly on the inside and the shit ugly on the outside. But it's people that don't even live in apartments that big. Because I'm going to tell you, my motherfucking 3-bedroom in Fairfield was huge. It was like a townhouse. Big ass living room. Nice size kitchen with a pantry. Lots of cabinets. You feel what I'm saying? They ain't had no ventilation system over the stove though. That was a fail. Right? They didn't have that. That was a fail. But free gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Free water. One big master bedroom with a closet. Then a medium-sized room. Then a small room for you. You know what I mean? I had 2 daughters, so they had the room that was next to the biggest. And my son had the small room. It was just him. Working out perfectly, right? But we ended up getting bed bugs. We had mad roaches because my next door neighbor had a lot of roaches, bro. Like, oh my God. Like, it was just trifling as a motherfucker. And then when the heat situation had went out over there, that's when I had enough. I said, you know what? I can't do this shit no more. I'm going to have to thug it out. And I ended up meeting my now husband in 2017 in August. And by January 2018, I was moving out of Fairfield. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is, I understood what the system meant, what it could do if you actually fell short into it. But see, I came in with a plan. And my plan was to come in there, get my credit up, get myself another vehicle, stack my money, and get the fuck out of there. But there's people who are born into that place, and then they end up living there, and then their kids end up living there, and their kids end up living there. And that's the reason why it never recycles over, so new people can move in and then move out. So it's the black people. It's y'all holding up the system. It's y'all fucking it up. It's y'all keeping the shit like it is. Because it ain't that many white people that live in the projects. They just the ones that like that black dick. That's it. Those are the only ones I see in the projects. I rarely see a white woman with a white man in the projects, bro. I rarely see it. Okay? And those niggas that's over there hustling, they fucking them white bitches over there, getting them pregnant, and then leaving their ass over there. Okay? We're not gonna sit here and act like that's not what the fuck is going on over there. See, it's different when motherfuckers from the outside talking about it. You like, oh, y'all don't really know what it's like. But for a motherfucker who live there, I know what the fuck it's like. And I know what it's still like. And I know when I'm door dashing, I hate fucking going over there. Because I don't know if one of you little niggas going to try to come out and try to rob us. Okay? Because the same motherfucker that shot my window out, like, I got cool with him. You know what I'm saying? I got cool with him. The same little nigga that shot my window out, 18 years old, went to jail for murder because I didn't press charges on him when he shot my window out. One of the OGs around the way gave me the money and went and got my window fixed. Because, nigga, I just dropped $1,500 down on a vehicle, right, that I really didn't have. I saved up. And then you gonna cost me another $800 for a back motherfucking window out of a motherfucking expedition, bitch? Cause y'all bored? Y'all ain't got no regard for nobody else's life. Y'all don't have no regard for your own self, your family, no motherfucking body. And that's the real motherfucking truth. It's fucking filthy over there. And that's why the people on the outside talk about y'all. Y'all had a nerve to be embarrassed. You don't want nobody to know you live over there, so you try to hide the little concrete walls behind you. Because you know as soon as we see that shit, we know where you at. We know you in one of them. Give your kids a motherfucking opportunity to be proud of where they live at. Give them an opportunity to be proud of where they live. Now, me personally, I think the reason that the housing shit is fucked up is because they don't have a cap on how long you can live there. I feel like they should put a 5-year cap on you being there. Because once your kid go to school, you should be able to actively go work and start stacking your bread so you can get the fuck out of the projects. But some of y'all so busy worried about trying to get some dick in your life. You want a man so bad. And that's cool because, I mean, as an adult, that is a part of the spectrum. But right now, you a bitch in need. So you need to focus on you, bruh. Save your motherfucking money up and get yourself, or get you a motherfucker that can get you out of there. The reason why some niggas don't date women that live in there is because they just feel like you don't want nothing more for yourself because you've allowed yourself to be there that long. There was a person who was there before I got there. I've been gone from Fairfield 8 years now. 8 years. There's people still there that was there when I was there. And their kids are grown. They still there. They're not trying to give nobody else an opportunity to live there if they need it for emergency housing. You get what I'm saying? Then they talking about the vouchers. The voucher situation. Okay. I had a voucher. All right, I found a townhouse, 2-bedroom junk. All right, boom. Same thing with the voucher. The only persons that can be there is the people on the lease. So if the person ain't on the voucher, they can't be there. Same shit. Same shit. But bitches get comfortable with the voucher and keep lying and saying whatever the fuck they got to say to keep that shit. Just like with food stamps. Bitches will work under a certain amount of hours to continue to get food stamps. And they will do the same shit for public housing. We're not going to act like that shit isn't really happening. I just don't knock nobody on your hustle. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I'm never going to knock nobody else's hustle. This is not what the fuck this is about. This is about there's people trying to blame the fucking government and the system for why the black men is not in the households. These niggas is not in there because they don't want to fucking be in there. They don't want to fucking get married. They want to fuck. And I don't know, not all y'all family members' ancestors was breeders. Some of y'all, I don't know why y'all got this something inside of yourself that's so lusty that you can't fucking function without your dick going in some pussy and leaving babies behind. Nobody, I mean, y'all get so mad when the women, single women talk about this shit. But so many of y'all are out here just fucking bitches and getting them fucking pregnant and then leaving them behind. And the kids are having trauma growing up with one fucking parent. who may not even be mentally capable of showing up the right fucking way. I even had to ask my daddy that shit. Why the fuck did you leave me with my mother? If you knew that one day I was going to find out why you left, why the fuck you ain't make sure I could leave? Why would you leave me with her, bro? Now she mad that I tell the world about how my fucking life really was compared to the fucking image that she was putting out there. I'm out this bitch telling the truth. Shaming the motherfucking devil. That's why these motherfucking crackers keep saying that shit to y'all. Yeah, y'all motherfuckers, we gonna take that shit away. So with the fucking food stamps, yesterday, I went to Walmart because my husband and my son gave me money to go fucking grocery shopping. Okay? So boom, I get in Walmart. There's not a fucking black face in sight. All I see is white people. Older white people, younger white people in there shopping. One bitch never... And I'm going to drop that clip because I think that shit hilarious. Motherfuckers skipping out that bitch because we won't in their way while they were shopping. That was the fucking quietest, the cleanest, and the emptiest I ever seen the Walmart over there on fucking Mechanicsville. And now, like I said, I was getting EBT for a long time. I had been getting EBT from, 2000? All the way up, off and on, all the way up until maybe 5 years ago? So, what I'm trying to see is why was that? Why was it so empty? Didn't people get dispersed some of their food stamps yesterday? I ain't know what was going on. I felt like I was in the fucking Twilight Zone. It felt like COVID days. That's what it felt like when I went in there. I ain't never been able to go to the grocery store and get everything I need and, not have to pick over it. This was the first time. I don't even know how I felt about that shit for real. I just was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? But I did see a whole bunch of white people swiping that fucking EBT card, though. And see, I ain't record that because, they got their little numbers and shit on there. I ain't gonna be that fucking creepy. But, yeah, I was very shocked to see that because, usually on the first it's so packed and there's so many different mixtures of people that I don't know who using what to pay for their shit. And I usually don't pay no mind to it. But the fact that they had shut the government down, it did make me pay attention to what the fuck was going on. And that's what I saw. And so I was just thinking to myself, like, where are all the black people at? I seen one black woman coming out the store. That was really literally it. And everybody else black worked there. So I just was like, whoa, what is going on here? So I'm just saying, even with food stamps, people lie to get food stamps. People sell food stamps to get the cash so they can buy. We all know this. Y'all think that the government don't know that that's what the fuck motherfuckers been doing for years and years? That 5400 shit that is like highway fucking robbery? Because listen, I'm getting EBT because I have a low income. So that means after I pay all my bills, I don't have no money to buy food. So they give me a budget to buy food. And then here you come talking about sell you some food stamps. Because you figure I ain't paying for them. So I should be able to give them to you for free so you can get more groceries. When you already spending on me with your better house and your better cars and your man at home. But you asking the poor to give up their shit to give it to you. So you can feel better about you paying so much money on shit. But you the one who chose that big ass motherfucking house to live in. You could have fell into hardship and applied for the projects. The only way you're going to get denied is if your income is out of bracket. If you make too much money, you can't get food stamps. You make too much money, you can't live in public housing. Why are y'all mad that people are being able to live in the fucking slums for free? This shit should be free. This shit is trash. Roaches, bed bugs, rats. Not mice, rats. Hood niggas, hood bitches. Old ornery people, old sick people. People that's sick that ain't even old. Mental disorders. Lots of autism. Lots of ADHD. That's what the fuck is over there. Little girls being outside late at night. Nobody watching them. Do what the fuck they want to do. That's what the fuck is over there. Y'all mad at these people for that? Because that's what y'all want to do? When I say since I've been out, it feel like the projects was like prison. When I be like, I've been out the projects since, you hear what I said? I've been out the projects since, it sounded like I was in jail for 8 years. I was in jail. Living in public housing. It felt like hell on earth. Always having to watch my 10 and my 2. Always, you know what I'm saying? I gotta watch if somebody is envious of me. Because I got all these niggas coming in here getting their hair done. I'm making all this motherfucking money. I done got me an expedition living in the projects. They me like, what the fuck? And you know what? As soon as I got my car, I got the fuck out of there. Because already after 6 months of having it, somebody shot the windows out. So all I'm saying is like, you can't even have nothing nice living over there. Then if you in the neighborhood across the street, they coming over here fucking your shit up. Why are y'all kids doing that shit? Why the fuck are y'all kids walking around the fucking projects with choppers? They are their own fucking problem. No one white is coming into that neighborhood bothering y'all. And y'all ain't going into no white neighborhoods that's out there fucking with black people. Y'all ain't going out there and doing nothing to them. Y'all ain't going into the fucking military either, so y'all can actually just be trigger happy somewhere where you can actually kill people and it's legal. Y'all ain't doing that. Y'all killing each other. You killing each other. You antagonize each other. Y'all crack on each other. Y'all mamas all live in the same motherfucking hood. They all don't work. But you expecting them to have Jordans on your feet and shit like that. Half of your mamas don't even know if you gonna make it to see fucking 18. All because what? What's the fucking reason? I used to ask men over there, like, why you sell drugs over here, bro? Why do you shit where you sleep? Because this is where the fucking bitches is depressed at. So if it's really true that only women occupy leases over there, why the fuck did my neighbor on the end, Mr. Neil, live over there? He was a man. He had a lease. He was disabled. But you know what? Mr. Neil was still drinking, going out there getting pussy. Mr. Neil was out there moving around like a regular nigga. But he was getting, I knew a dude that was like probably like 30, had his daughter who was autistic and had special needs. He lived over there. He had his own lease. He lived there. Men can fucking live there, dummies. Men can live there. You gotta qualify. Who the fuck wanna qualify for the projects? Y'all mad because y'all can't get in the projects. That shit sounds so fucking insane. I was embarrassed that I had to go there. I was mad that I had to go there. I cried every fucking night, the whole first fucking month. Because I said, God damn, I let my life get this fucking bad to where I got to move here. Where I can't show my black girl joy. I can't just be bubbly and happy. Bitches gonna be mad because I'm happy. A bitch told my son, when he had started his dreadlocks, that no girl was going to want him. She was going to think he was a faggot with dreadlocks. My fucking 4-year-old son came back in the house and took scissors and cut his hair off. I still have the pictures of this shit to remind me. And I went over there to that bitch and we had to thump it out. Because what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you say some shit like that to a fucking kid? That's the type of bitches that live over there. They will call your son a fucking faggot. There's mothers that call their sons faggots. There's mothers who, bitch, you, because they not out here looking like these hood niggas you fucking. These niggas that's never going to help you get out of there. These niggas that look you right in your face and lie to you and put their hands on you. That's what y'all bitches is dealing with over there. That's what y'all dealing with. Y'all got a nigga who ain't on y'all lease coming over there telling you that he gonna pay your motherfucking rent for you. And you like, cool. So you can keep that $50 in your pocket to go buy you some weed. We not gonna sit here and play with me today. We're not gonna sit here and play with me today. If they was to go right now and drug test every motherfucking person in the projects, probably 85% of them bitches is going to be test positive for marijuana right now. That's my fucking point. I took the time to create a business while I was living there doing dreadlocks. The name of my business is RVA Locks. That's what I took the time to do. I found out by a friend who did music with me to get an LLC. And then after I got the LLC, I went through the state corporation commission and I paid the $100 to get my business registered. And then I got a bank account. You hear me what I'm telling y'all? It's the blueprint. And after I got that bank account, I started stacking my money. And then when I got enough money for a deposit, I started applying for places. And I got the fuck out of there. And I am now a homeowner with 2.25 acres of land with my husband and my son, the last of my children, who is 18 now, working with his dad, with his stepdad. You see what I'm saying? And he had a chance to live in regular housing. He was with me when I had to move from place to place. My kids was with me. They watched my struggle. They watched every fucking piece of it. And every single moment, I was accelerating myself just a little bit more. And I was still fucking. I was still having my fun. But I was not focused more on relationships than I was of my goals and accomplishing my dreams. That was my goal. Because ultimately, ever since a kid, I wanted to have land. I wanted to develop a housing development for people to stay in that was affordable for felons who just getting out. Because I've experienced so many different types of people in my life, in my family. So I wanted to create an environment that will have work and housing. And I'm one step away from it right now. Now I live in an area that have lots of land available, right? I'm learning a little bit more about how to acquire land that is in places that can be set up as residential. I'm learning right now still. And I don't got to give a fuck about none of y'all. If y'all have a place to stay, if you can eat, I don't have to worry about that shit. I really don't. But that's not the spirit. I have a spirit that cares. I have a spirit that want to see people make it. I want to see people, you feel me, off the streets. I want to see the drugs gone. I want to see people operating a full frequency because I've never seen that shit in my life. Even with me, I've been smoking weed so long. If I end up with dementia, I'll be just ever so grateful to just forget everything the fuck I ever did went through. Real shit. At 45 right now, I could be kicking it because right now I'm a wife. I'm a home wife too. Like, I don't have to work anymore. Now my son and my husband's working and they both own this house with me. You feel me? So right now I'm in a place where I should be celebrating this, but I've been having a hard time letting go, making a lot of money and being the person that was always taking care of everything and making sure. Now I'm learning how to be just a helpmate instead of being the help. Being the INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? I ain't got to do that no more. Because I'm a wife now. I'm a helpmate. Okay? Transitions. I'm proving that no matter what people say about you, how many people you sleep with, no matter how many baby daddies you got, no matter how many, none of that shit, you could be somebody's wife one day. I have proven that even if you homeless, been in the streets, come from the slums, have fucked up parents, that you can still be a good parent. Meanwhile, trying to make sure that you are securing good home and environment for your kids. My kids can't grow up and say their mama didn't show them no love, or that their mama didn't show them no affection, or their mama didn't show up for them. They can't say that. I can say that, but they can't say that. I have successfully raised 3 children. One, I gave to her dad because I felt like that was the best choice. Because being a young mom just wasn't working out right for me. I financially wasn't able to take care of her all by myself. And there was that. The second one, 100% all by myself. Third one, 100% by myself. So I raised 2 fully by myself. And still managed to do my music career, become a stylist, a clothing stylist. I've been able to do all these things. And I just feel like for the people who live in the projects right now, like, you could be so much better than you are. You letting these people hold you down and hold you back. When I lived out there, I helped 7 girls. I helped 7 girls. I gave them my blueprint, and all of them are still out the projects. They still out of them. I don't know where their parents at that was in the projects. I don't know if they still in the projects. I don't know. I know those girls ain't. I try to help a couple boys, but it didn't go so well for them. You know what I'm saying? One is locked up for murder. Another one got a lot of kids and out here acting like a gangster and making music. You hear what I'm saying? A lot of one of them, I ain't even seen him, but I know he got like 5 kids. So I'm just saying, the boys I tried to help in Fairfield, I wasn't so successful. But the girls that I helped, they're doing very, very well in life. They all have spouses. You know, the ones who have children, multiple children, shit like that, they still out on their own. They still ain't in the projects with that shit. You get what I'm saying? They have learned to either live with a sibling or something like that so they can, you know, work together and, you know, not have to be struggling for real, for real. Look out for each other on the babysitting, all that good shit like that. One of the girls, they lost, you know, 2 of the girls, they lost their mom. And so that's the thing they're doing right now. They didn't came together, living together and doing their thing. Another one, their 2 girls and their mom finally got out the projects, got a car now, working regular jobs. They doing good. So like I'm saying, like, it moves for everybody in different times, but because HUD don't have a cap on how long you can live in the projects, people gonna take advantage of whatever the fuck they can take advantage of. They're gonna lie, they're gonna manipulate the system, and they're gonna say, oh, well, the crackers was doing it. And yeah, they were, and they still are. You get what I'm saying? But you ain't them, though. You ain't them. So if you don't follow their guidelines, they can strip you of shit that you depend on. And as long as you keep leaning on them, they're gonna keep showing you, you know what I'm saying, who you really are. I feel like if some of y'all was to trace y'all ancestry back and see who y'all people were, you probably would change how you moving right now. Me, I did my ancestry. I found out mine was a good old boy. He was a house slave. He was a really dark complected house slave. He was born a house boy. He never, ever, ever, ever had to deal with being in the field. His dad, I don't know if his dad was a house boy or not, but I know that this child, he was. And from there, he became a musician. Very first noted musician in our family on my mother's dad's side. Arch Johnson, the noted fiddler. Noted in the book Tidewater Tales. My ancestor was a good old boy. He did what he was supposed to do, and he played the white people game so that he could excel. And after he finished working for them as a musician, they gave him 6 acres of land to live on with his family. Okay? That land is still in my family right now. They ain't using it, but they just using it for farming right now. They've been sharecropping ever since slavery was over. But what I'm saying is, we still have ownership of it. Our legacy. And he did what he did so that one day I could do what I'm doing. He wouldn't have probably known that 100 years later, 100 and some years later, that his 4th generation grandkid would be a music radio artist with music videos, who would have went through all the shit I went through, and none of it being inflicted on me by white people, all inflicted on me by family. All inflicted on me by family and baby daddies. Okay? My bad choices as well, on top of that. Okay? To continue to deal with these people after they already showed me who they were. Okay? He wouldn't have never known. Because, see, he probably thought all his ancestors was going to live on this land forever. My mama moved to Richmond. I was born in Richmond. I was raised in Richmond. I came out here and I was able to see that I had family who had land. I never once tried to really figure out how they got it or none of that type of shit until back in 2018. That's when I started inquiring about my family ancestry and found out everything I found out. Just not knowing nothing about my granddad made me learn this. And now I live on the same block that my ancestor was free on after slavery. The same plantation. I live on a part of the plantation that once owned my family. As a free person who's an entrepreneur, can do anything I want. Super talented, got many gifts. He wouldn't have known that full circle this was going to happen. But I landed back here. Now I'm here. And I'm not successful out here. I'm going to just keep it a band. I'm not successful out here. I'm making changes. People are copying shit they see me do, and that's great and everything. And I just realized that maybe that's my purpose. It's not really for me to actually do the building and doing all the stuff. Maybe it's just maybe I'm supposed to just lead the people, right? I keep feeling like I have the discernment of Noah, that I'm just here to just basically be the builder. But maybe it's not that. Maybe I'm just here to be the messenger. Maybe I'm just here to just inspire the people. Maybe that's a part of my purpose. And everything that I went through and everything I'm able to tell y'all right now is a part of my purpose. Because somebody might watch this video and look at themselves and be like, you know what? I need to straighten up. Because, yeah, we do got this cheap-ass housing. Why are we making it dirty like this? Why are we over here being violent? Why are we over here using each other to get each other high and depressed? Why? When we could get our shit together and get up out of here. Because, see, I'm going to tell you something. The reason why the white people own so much shit right now is because y'all are stuck where y'all at. Y'all not out here being inventors. Y'all not out here moving into these regular houses and running them out of those good neighborhoods. Y'all ain't running them out. You notice how they keep running y'all out? Y'all doing all this research and finding out that the whole city of Richmond is built on enslaved bodies. We been knew that. They told us that shit in history in class. But if y'all won't paying attention, that's why the fuck you don't know. But they been telling us. They been rubbing it in our faces for centuries. They've been rubbing it in our face. We took your land. We enslaved you on it. And then after that, we set you free and we segregated from y'all. Then we integrated with y'all and still made y'all feel divided. And now we made y'all be divided within a community. Now y'all hate each other instead of hating us. Now y'all destroying your own neighborhoods instead of destroying ours. You get me? They won. Y'all lost. You fell into the fucking trap. You fell into the trap. You knew it was a trap and you still ran in there, little micey. Little mousey, mousey, micey. You let them win. Every time you renew your lease in those projects, you letting them win. If you feel like you should be able to live with your man, go get an apartment with his name on the lease. And he gonna tell you he ain't got good credit. Gator boots with a pimped out Gucci suit. Ain't got no job, but I still shop. Can't pay my rent, cause all my money spent. Got a quarter tank of gas in my new E-Class. But I'm gonna ride and I'm gonna shine. See, it's the dumbass mentality. They play in your face. They got you singing that shit and you doing that dumb shit. Got everything in my mama name. Ain't that what y'all be doing? That's why y'all ain't got no credit. Because you putting everything in your mama fucking name. So just in case if you get in trouble, you don't lose nothing. That's why now they come and seize all your mama shit too. And seize everybody's shit. You keep showing them how to defeat y'all. Real shit. Real shit. I'm just trying to give y'all real shit today. Real game today. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to go from here. I got to leave the blueprint somewhere. I told my husband, I said, there's going to come a time where when my son graduate, I ain't going to be able to qualify for food stamps no more. I ain't going to be able to qualify for certain shit no more. And you going to have to be able to step that shit up and be able to hold your weight. Because doing hair is like a hustle. If I don't have people booking me, hey. And like I said, I can go out there and get a regular job. I'm still not going to make that much money because they're going to be taking taxes out of me too. Get what I'm saying? That's why so many people become entrepreneurs. Keep that shit under the table. Just make your little coins and shut the fuck up. But now everybody want to be viral. Everybody want, you know what I'm saying? The big time, everybody know about it. The reason why a majority of your ancestors survived was through word of mouth, my nigga. Spreading the good word. That's how the Underground Railroad was working. Word of mouth, keeping it quiet. Everybody don't need to fucking know. Now, I've been thinking about coming up with a program where I'm funding and helping people, but it's like, it got to start with you making good decisions, starting from leaving out your mama house. Keep your fucking legs closed. Use your heart and not your fucking eyes. Y'all bitches out here looking at these niggas looking good and shit like that, and you laying on your back and you end up with a baby and you out here out back. And then you just keep the cycle going. You don't never even wake up after the first one. Some people wake up after that first one like, nah, I ain't gonna keep on doing that. And some of y'all just keep trusting the same shit over and over again. That's insanity. You got to do better. You know better, so do better. They put this shit on your face. They've been rubbing it in your face for years, showing you exactly what they've been doing to keep us down. And then we just keep doing the same shit over and over again. Even when I look into my family dynamic, Arch had 2 women. He had a wife and a white bitch that he was fucking and had 7 kids with the white bitch. And then he had 3 or 4 with his wife. They lived in dwellings literally side by side. Because there's so much land in between, you know, it might have felt like a little distance, but it's literally still next door. Okay? Dwelling 116, 114. Do we not know that they do routes by even and odd? Okay. He had 2 women, all those kids. So he had kids that was half siblings, probably fighting over whatever the fuck they might have been fighting over, right? And then he had a son with the white woman named Craddock. That's who I come from. I come from the white woman. I come from the side piece. Okay? So now we done breeded a line of side pieces. We done breeded lines of women who are okay with being side bitches and having kids with married men or having multiple men while while married. We got a lot of infidelity in our family due to the beginning that we know of. Because they talked about it. They talked about Arch having those 2 women. So we breeded chauvinistic men and whole women. Period. You having sex with more than one person, you a hoe. I'm sorry. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You out here sleeping with multiple people, it is what it is. Okay? And people like, you act like you... I'm not saying I'm better. I'm telling you that I acknowledge this shit, and I'm not about to sit here and act like it ain't what it is. Okay? All right. Don't matter what your intentions was. The whole fact is you got a list of bodies behind you. All right? Craddock had over fucking 40 children with multiple different women. Okay? One of the children that was born from that was my great-grandmother, who had 13 kids with her first cousin. Craddock half-sibling, a female, had a son. That son is my great-grandfather. So, cousins, half cousins, had 13 kids. One of those kids was my granddad. Now, they claim allegedly my granddad might have had some extra kids out there. We ain't never met him, never heard of him either. But I know that he had 4 legitimate that I know of and 2 questionable. Okay? Because I don't have no DNA. I'm just going off of the facts. Okay? Now, she had 6 kids. All right? My granddad and my grandma had 6 kids. My mama one of them. My mama got 2 kids, 2 baby daddies. She had me. I got 3 kids, 3 baby daddies. My daughter got 1 baby daddy, 2 kids. You see how it's starting to change? But the dynamic's still the same. She clung on to a man to leave her daddy and his family. Right? Because that's who she was living with. She wasn't living with me. She didn't do that to escape me. She did that to escape her dad. So she could secure herself a man. Because she watched me live without one. I watched my mom live without one. Okay? Just look at the pattern here. My mom left out here to go to Richmond to get a better job, and because my dad lived in the city. And her and my dad ended up moving together after she moved here, so there's that. I came in year 3 of their 5-year relationship. And when they broke up, my mom was single by herself trying to figure it out. My grandma left her family to be with my granddad. Moved in with him and his family. See what I'm saying? Moved in with them until they got a house built for their family. that they had together. So all I'm saying is if you just look at the structure, it makes very much sense why no one in my family really upgraded into a better situation. There was no stability. There was no good father figure in the household. So they weren't in the projects. So what was the excuse why the man wasn't in that house? Y'all try to find excuses for anything. The projects, it ain't a whole lot of people that live in the projects. It's a lot of men who did not fucking stick around in the household that didn't live in the projects. A lot of men, you said project, get the man out the house. All right, cool. Most of the women had to start working because they lost their husbands due to death or divorce. And they was forced to have to work. So independence isn't something that you just, it's something you become. You have to become independent sometimes. Some women, after they see all the trauma in their life, they say, you know what, I ain't never going through that. I'm going to just go ahead and be single and never have kids. People's trauma be really navigating other people's decision making. Except the people that's in the projects. They look at each other and they keep doing the same shit over and over again. They don't see no wrong in it. That's home to them. That's normal for them. So let's say we tear all the projects down, right? And we take all the government assistance away. Y'all white people ain't gonna be safe. They gonna rob y'all ass. They gonna take all that shit y'all got. Because the only person they can be jealous of is y'all. Because the rest of us black people, I mean, it would be insane for them to come and rob us. Why would you come do that? Because we doing better than you? Make that shit make sense. None of this shit don't make sense. But once I saw where I came from, I decided I wanted better and more for my life. And I had my family holding me down, literally, because they felt like, who the fuck did I think I was that I get to have a different life than what they had? I didn't want to be a factory worker. I didn't want to be a restaurant worker. I want to be a restaurant owner. You get me what I'm saying? I want to be a hair salon owner, okay? I never wanted to be the worker bee. I always wanted to be the boss bee. So y'all mad at me because I ain't want to follow y'all footsteps and be just like y'all, which is nobody and nowhere? No. The world knows me because I stepped out on my own gifts and abilities. And unfortunately, every now and then I needed my family help. But even in that, they never really helped me when I was doing good. They only helped me when I was doing bad. Every time I had some major trauma, here they come. When my daughter had her mental break, here they came. But when I was doing good, I didn't see none of them. None of them was coming. Like, I've been on my own. Like I said, I just sat here and talked for some shit. But I've been on my own since 99. Right? I cannot say that none of my family ever really came to pull up on me for Christmas, Thanksgiving, or any birthday parties for my children. And the whole time I've been on my own. And when I was homeless and shit like that, I either ate with wherever I was staying, or I went to that said family house that lived out here where I live now. I'll come out here. And that's only because I couldn't do it myself. So I realized the only time I came around them was for trauma. The trauma bond. To feel included when I didn't feel included nowhere else. Because I knew I always had a space with these people. But the moment that I try to shine a little brighter, they be like, where the fuck you think you going? Why you think you supposed to do that? Why you think you can talk about us and do this and do that? And I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, I know for a fact that I could have got a lot further if they really would have tried to find a way to push what I was trying to do. You get what I'm saying? Just because y'all had never done that before don't mean that y'all should not have tried to push me into it. You get what I'm saying? You could have had learned with me. But instead, they just was like, oh, well, we don't know that, so we're just going to stay ignorant. We're not going to learn nothing else, and you're just going to have to just be broke like us and live like this and just keep coming here every Christmas and every Thanksgiving and only celebrating the people who are our favorites and never celebrating you. They never threw me no birthday party. They ain't never do none of that shit like that for me. So I just was trying to figure out why they were so mad that I was trying to be around people that was. Why was they jealous? Why was they mad? Why they felt left out? Imagine how I felt being in a family where I do shit they don't do. Even when I was in the projects, there was a whole lot of girls that did hair, but none of them was doing it to the capacity of where I was doing it. And they making the money I was making. And they saw that I ain't had no niggas come live with me. I had niggas spend the night, shit like that. And I had a couple of bad situations because of that shit. Breaking the rules. I won't set up to break the rules. I have to follow the rules, just like my good old enslaved ancestor. That good old entitled boy from back in the day. I have to follow the rules, because when I follow the rules, I get further. Real talk. I had a caring neighbor try to tell me I couldn't do hair on my crib when I left the projects and moved into a house off of Courthouse Road. She tried to tell me I couldn't do hair on my house. I went to the county and asked them, what can I do? They said, well, as long as you be by appointment and don't have people sitting and waiting like a salon, then you can do services out your house. Boom. Boomed out that bitch after that. Took that information to that bitch so she can read it. Yeah, don't try to slow me down, white bitch. I got this. And that's exactly what I did. So again, I ain't never let none of the system shit slow me down. When it's time to take the food stamps, take the food stamps. I gave my voucher back because I was getting ready to get married and buy a house. I had to let it go. Instead of me trying to cheat the system and me go ahead and use the voucher to get a house and have him just sneaking to live there. That's just stupid. When you can live in harmony in your own space. Where the government, and guess what? I got my housing loan through HUD. Through Richmond Redevelopment, surely did. Surely did. See, because I followed the rules. I ain't never paid my rent late. I left the way I was supposed to. Somebody actually set my unit on fire when I moved out of Fairfield. Somebody set my apartment on fire before I could finish getting all my merchandise out of it. Yeah, I got that video too. See, I can't make this shit up. Y'all be thinking shit be just sounding crazy, but my life really has been crazy. It really has been. And I said soon I'm going to start dropping like little story times to tell y'all just different little things that I went through and experienced, because you wouldn't even fucking believe it. But guess what? I got pictures and videos for the proof. If you on this channel and you subscribe, make sure y'all go back and listen to my song called Pose for the Frame. I take a picture for the proof. I ain't worried about you lames. I'm in my own lane. Strike a pose for the frame and gain my own fame. Got you thinking I'm insane, but yet I'm well trained. Got my mind on my money, and nigga, you small change. Keep my name in your mouth so I stay relevant. Got you riding on my wave, and the proof is evident. Yeah. Check the lyrics, baby, all day. I'm always speaking facts. There's been a lot of people riding my wave. A lot of people following what I've been doing. A lot of people being inspired by that. And I'm going to be honest, at first I was a little annoyed because I'm like, bitch, why y'all ain't working with me? Why we not coming together as a conglomerate and make bread together? Nah, because y'all so scared if you work with me, I'm going to make more than you. And that's why I'm always going to win. Because y'all so busy trying to make sure I don't. And that's what makes sure I do. Get y'all shit together. That's all I can say. For the people who, you know what I'm saying, is appreciative to the benefits you've received, shout out to y'all, because I definitely appreciate the government being my baby daddy for the past 26 years. For the past 26 years, because of them, my children was able to have a stable roof over their head that I could afford. They were able to eat 3 times a day and have snacks. Okay? They were able to be in one spot and go to school and go through those transitions. Okay? My kids was able to have medical insurance so that they could go to the doctors. Because if you don't have certain immunizations and shit done with the school system, they on your ass. So shout out to that. Shout out to the government program to give them free lunch, even though the lunch is disgusting. Shout out to those food stamps that had to catch that when they came home. Mom, I ain't eat today at school because the food was nasty and I got that lunch ready. Shout out to me being able to be a better mother to my children because these fucking funds was available to me. Shout out to the government. Y'all hate them so bad, but you love what they offer, but you hate them because of the rules that are in place. If you follow the fucking rules, watch how your life will change, because it is a project. And guess what? Y'all failed the project. They told you keep the men out so they keep it safe and clean, and it could be a place where you moms can have your children and raise them and it be good. But nah, y'all was sneaking them niggas in, and now you got more kids and more problems. That's the fact. That's the reality of this shit. But anyway, I didn't talk long enough. I hope y'all enjoyed this live. I've been on here for an hour and some change. I hope y'all share this shit to somebody who need to hear it. Because for real, y'all be thinking these people out here don't want to help you. And the reason why is because you giving them a reason to think that y'all never going to do better. How every year you sign up for Angel Tree? What years are you ever going to have the money to buy your own kids the things that you feel like they should have? Nobody else should be having to take care of your kids and you right there fully able. You get what I'm saying? If you can get yourself together to go walk through the cut, to go get a blunt and smoke it, then you can damn sure go out here and get yourself a job and get daycare. Okay? Enjoy your motherfucking day.